This is Crime Cruise, Love Boat Exposed.
Saturday on the Love Boat.
The podcast that hunts down and tears apart shenanigans on this classic TV show.
I see an awful lot of bodies who really have nothing to be ashamed of.
When laws, morals, and behavior go rogue.
He's a student of marine biology, and I know a lot of Marines who like to study her biology.
We are there.
Saturday on the Love Boat, Julia's game to join an all-male club, but she's shocked at the things they ask her to do.
Now, from Studio 109, welcome aboard.
I think it's time you and I got to know each other better. A man gets very lonely at sea.
Yes, I can imagine.
I think it's time for all of us in the studio here in the Southeast, out west, where producer Caleb is, all get to know each other better as we enter into Love Boat Season 3.
I can't believe we're at Season 3.
Oh my gosh, yes. Big occurrence here. We've made it through 2 seasons. This is Crime Cruise Love Boat Exposed.
High seas and low morals.
I am your host, Rob.
And I'm Charlotte.
And out there,
producer Caleb.
The Wild Wild West.
The Wild West. We have this whole country covered, coast to coast, just about. Well, this is exciting.
It is
just
exciting.
Closed down Season 2 as we enter into a new season ourselves here, entering into the summer.
Exactly. Only like, what, 27 more seasons to go? How many?
Something like that.
For real.
We have 7 left.
Yeah.
7 left.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay.
Well, this puts us on September 15, 1979. We've not yet broken into the 80s, but we are in 1979, into the fall, the end of a decade.
Yep.
Tumultuous,
Yep.
crazy,
Yep.
shag carpet, furry toilet seat covers.
All the things.
All that shit.
A circular couch.
Circular
A
couches.
bed, those beds that vibrated in hotel rooms.
Yes. Color schemes that are like green and orange and brown, all that kind of
And
stuff.
yellow and checkers, and it's all supposed to work.
Well, I'm excited. Love Boat Season 3, Episode 1. What we do, of course, is give the task of pulling apart, dissecting each episode of the Love Boat. We give that to producer Caleb, and he looks at it with a discerning eye, the eyes of a very wise 20-year-old man.
Well, it's actually his show, if you think about it. Like, he's the one that drives the direction of it, right? He sets the stage, if you will.
Absolutely.
The tone of the show. He decides in what directions we go.
You know, just pulling the strings.
Yeah, he is. He's a puppet
master.
master.
We both are thinking the same thing. And I
You
realized...
should go as that for Halloween, Caleb. You should just go, like, dress as a puppet and just have strings hanging off of you.
Well, we already have him lined up to be the captain.
Well, yeah.
For this Halloween. I realized in previous seasons I called producer Caleb the boy, and now you might have noticed I've called him man.
Yeah, because of that hat.
Because of the hat, because of his haircut, which we just saw a preview of. I mean, we know in the last season he shaved off all his head for a charitable reason.
Exactly.
His hair is back, and instead of being kind of a white fro, it's very much cropped like a businessman.
Yes, and he is a man because he sticks to his word and he does what he's supposed to do, and he shows up every week.
Yes.
So he has
does.
graduated.
Well, we are all here.
I'm going to cry. I'm feeling quite emotional.
Oh, no. Are you really? I'll get you. You are, though.
This
You
is
are.
like a non-religious bar mitzvah.
I know it is. I know.
Really.
Don't have a checkbook for you, Caleb, but if I did, I'd write you one.
I would
appreciate
Yeah, you're
lift
welcome.
that boy up on a chair and carry him around. Or
I
is
would
that
too.
like a gypsy wedding? I'm not
It could
even
be
sure.
a lot of things, I think.
We're going to roll. I'm told this is a 2-parter. It seems that's something that Love Boat did last time around Season 2. They did Episode 1 and Episode 2. A cliffhanger.
Makes sense, though, kind of, right?
It does. Cliffhanger, as you might say.
Yeah.
I'm always excited because there's not many cliffhangers. Most episodes of Love Boat are very self-contained.
I will say that this really wasn't a cliffhanger. The episode just kind of ended and said, to be continued. There wasn't like any stakes. There wasn't really anything. They just kind of ended so it was like, to be continued. So nothing like last season when they were stranded on a deserted island with some random crazy guy. Nothing like that. The stakes are very, very low this episode.
Okay.
Low stakes.
I'm sure we can find something, though, right?
Well, without any further ado, we begin our journey into Season 3, Episode 1 of The Love Boat. Taxi cab?
Yep.
Oh, there's Reverend McGuffey. Hi. It's good to see you.
Yes.
I always hoped I'd be around to officiate at Doug's wedding.
It's like they're boarding
you'd be going to
the boat.
Skagway, Alaska to do it.
Oh, yes, I suppose it would have been more convenient if he'd married the girl next door instead of the granddaughter of an Alaskan oil man.
But not nearly as romantic.
Oh, I agree. However, you might get an argument from that young lady. She was the girl next door.
Reverend, darling.
Oh, wow. All right, let's talk.
Wow. So did we just see the preacher or priest or father? I'm not sure what religion we're dealing with right now. Did he just invite the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend of the person he's getting ready to do the marriage for?
The Alaskan wedding of Doug and Carol causes problems between their families. Doug's old beau, Natalie, still loves him. These two very, very wealthy people, one from an Alaskan oil company and one who's just super rich, they're getting married in Alaska. What it looked like is the groom invited his ex-lover, and I kind of have an issue with that.
I would have an issue with that too if I was marrying him.
I wouldn't want to invite my ex to, not only to my wedding, but to a cruise wedding where there's nowhere else to go.
Right. And there's just so many things wrong. There's so many things wrong with that. But I would also like to bring up, is this the first time, and I wonder if moving forward with seasons of The Love Boat, are they going to take different routes? Because they've always been going to Mexico, and now they're all of a sudden going to Alaska.
I think so.
I feel like we're being set up for that.
I think we are. First time going outside of the Acapulco route.
Right.
They're building this up to be an exciting episode.
They are. But what the hell is Charo going to do in Alaska?
I don't know. But I mean, here's what I think. I think it's an occasional journey to Alaska. What we saw was them shooting out in the real world, not in the studio.
Which
it was
we
very
don't see very
obvious.
much. Mm-hmm.
Right. I assume they're still in Long Beach. There were a great number of buildings. It looked like it was a port in Los Angeles itself. It just was a view we don't normally see of the Love Boat. It was a city, and it was embarkation and taxis and real buildings in the background. And it was quite a scene. They spent some money. And the priest, well...
We know how priests do on the Love Boat. We've only had one prior than him, and he didn't do so great, in our opinion.
No. We may have had more than one priest. I'm not sure. Okay. But the priests are a red alert for us.
Yes.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, take a gander back to season 1, and you'll see a storyline of a priest, a pack of boys.
He brings on board.
Yeah, it's not pretty. So why live in the past, though?
Why live in the past? Can't do anything about it.
Here we go.
Doug, stay close to me, okay?
For the rest of your life.
Oh, here they are, everybody. Doug, Dougie, hi, come with me. I've got a million people you've just got to meet. You Doug?
Whoa.
I have so many notes on this thing.
What did we just see, Charlotte?
Well, we saw the new husband, who I believe is a young Mark Harmon, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Walk through with his new wife, who is also, a glamorous blonde. However, his previous girlfriend, we don't know if they were married before, but definitely his previous girlfriend, lover. We see her sulking in the background, and then she just whips across like she owns the place and grabs him and takes him away from his soon-to-be wife and says, I have lots of people I want you to meet. And he just goes, okay, and tinkers off. Secondly, you could never film this scene currently because I saw more fur coats on that deck.
There were like 40 people in the lobby of the ship there.
Yeah, but there were so many people in fur coats, you could not do that these days. You would have notes and calls and everything. It'd be absolutely impossible.
I have a little trivia fact for you guys.
I love a trivia fact.
I appreciate the fur coats. So apparently, due to the colder temperatures than expected, the wardrobe crew needed to provide fur coats for all of the women in the cast, covering up what was hoped to be an otherwise gorgeous collection of dresses and other outfits. The Love Boat has a unfortunate track record of putting women in the gimpiest
that's true. They're fully covered, at least at this point.
Most clothes we've ever seen.
Yeah,
covered them all up, and I'm kind of grateful for that,
Yeah, well, that's true.
And going to Alaska, it makes a lot of sense. And imagine that, things that make a lot of sense on the Love Boat.
Well, but they're not in Alaska yet. I'd like to still point out they're still in Long Beach, California.
Southern California.
And I will guarantee you there is no need for a fur coat ever in Los Angeles. I live there forever, so there's no need.
You know what? That makes no sense then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's TV, though. It's a TV show, remember?
Uh-huh. Okay, well said.
Anything I can do for you?
Miss Roper.
It's Mrs. Roper again. And Lauren Green.
No, I was just fascinated. I've never seen a man hang himself before.
I don't understand. What does that mean?
I just love the fact that Miss Roper, to me, and I know that Three's Company was already in production, right?
Yes.
Was it before this or was
During.
it during? Okay. I don't know why they make her look like such an old, like Miss Habersham in these scenes. You know what I mean? Because in Three's Company, she's still like spry and funny and da-da-da. But like in this scene, she looks like she's just had it all.
It looks like
just
she's a
done.
golden girl.
Yeah, it does. She does.
And
But let's not put down the Golden Girls on
no,
it. You know, I'm a
this
big
must
fan.
be the third time Audrey Lindley is on the show.
Or the fourth time.
Maybe the fourth time. And mind you, season 2, episode 1 and 2, she was the focus of
so
that.
I'm counting that as 2 episodes.
She kicks off the season 2 episodes, and now she's
Yes.
kicking off season 1 episodes. This
you know,
is
but
interesting.
not a bad idea because she's adorable and everyone loves her.
She's
so
versatile.
not a bad idea to say that she's going to be on your opening show for your opening season. You
And
know?
she ran off and became what I called a sex slave to John Aston
Oh,
in
wow.
season 2, as you recall.
You're
Remember, they were on the
right. I
island.
do remember that.
And she actually looked pretty good.
Yep.
Shorter hair, as long as
Yep.
you take that kind of, white woman afro
Yeah.
off of her, she starts to look very
Yes,
much
she does.
young and spry, as he said.
Yes.
What's going on here, producer Caleb, in this scene?
Yeah, so that she is talking to her ex-husband.
Her
Because,
ex-husband.
it's a wedding. So unfortunate, awkward situations always come up in weddings with
Right.
just drama. I was just kind of caught off guard with a potential suicide joke.
That's true.
Hanging.
Like tying up his bow tie, and she goes, "I've never seen a man hang himself before."
True.
I just feel like that was out of pocket. And especially, you can't really be making suicide jokes or suicide-related jokes today.
Right. No, especially
Kind
not,
of
which is why
annoying.
this was in the 70s. We just didn't care then.
Whew, yeah, that's heavy already in
Yeah.
season 1. A lot of extreme things going on.
Lots of fun,
including
but I mean, lots of areas that this could just divert into. I'm excited to see what happens.
And I'll
with this
mention
wedding.
Audrey Lindley's husband, who was given that line of hanging yourself, was Lauren Green, who big movie and TV star, star of Bonanza,
yeah, there you go.
as well as a lot of movies, Irwin Allen disaster films and stuff like that. So that's Mrs. Roper's husband. And where does this boat take us?
Hello, Doug. You're a hard man to find. How are you?
Fine, Dad. Fine.
It's Mark Harmon.
Long time no see.
Yes.
Weird.
This
old
must be Carol.
man.
That's right. Carol, this is my father.
It's nice to meet you.
How are you? You're a very lucky man. Well, I won't spoil your fun.
Strange scene.
It's very nice meeting you.
You too.
Good night.
He dragged that scene down, that old man. What's going on?
Gosh, he seems really nice.
Carol, we've been over this before. And just have absolutely no respect for the man.
Well, maybe if you talk to him.
Oh, Dougie, listen, they're playing our song. Why don't we show him how we won the dance contest, huh?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Ex-wife shows back up. Hold your thoughts. One moment.
We'll be right back with more Love Boat Exposed.
Actually, I came to turn
Go to
myself in.
loveboatexposed.com to send us a message, leave a voicemail, or learn more about the show and our team. Who knows? You might just be invited to the captain's table.
It's a pleasure to welcome you aboard. I'm speaking for my entire crew.
I wonder what might happen at the captain's table on this particular cruise. What did you just see? What did we just take in that last scene?
The one thing I took in is the same thing that I've taken on. I think this is probably the third time on the Love Boat that someone's parents are meeting their fiance for the first time right before they're about to get married. That just seems crazy to me.
It is, and the old guy, there's something real creepy about
Well,
him.
he was looking at her like he wanted to lick her up and down. He was like, "Good job, son." It was just gross.
And that son, as you mentioned before, is Mark Harmon with blonde frosted hair,
Yep.
looking very young, very,
Yep.
I don't know, metro for 1979. And the woman who he's marrying, Lisa Hartman, who had an illustrious television career. And then I don't know who the girl was that sort of interrupted, but she did it again.
But she's ballsy. Like, she has no shame, this woman. I don't, but see, this is for me, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit differently, but like I wouldn't take it. I don't know why his soon-to-be wife is just like, oh, go ahead. There'd be none of no, honey. I would have put that one. I'm not even going to say what I would have
What's
done.
driving the ex?
Yeah, but I mean, what is driving her? It's her behavior is bizarre and completely inappropriate.
Are we missing something, producer Caleb? Is it all face value what we're looking at?
Oh, it's the love bird, so it's always face value.
Okay, I love that shit. Woo-woo.
Okay, well, with that said.
Actually, I came to turn myself in. I am by way of being what you'd call a stowaway.
Oh.
I don't understand.
Groom's father.
Well, I didn't know about my son's wedding until I read it on the society page. I was quite prepared to pay for my passage. But when I inquired about this cruise, I found out that it had been sold out months ago, solid. So I got the silly idea that I'd show up anyway and perhaps find a place to sleep.
Because there's no security on the Love Boat.
He's turning himself
I just thought I
in.
would show up, board the boat, and just find somewhere to sleep. Crazy.
Captain, I am an old man who's stowed away. I think that's Ray Milland, who was another old-timey kind of an actor, and I don't know why he felt the need to turn himself into the captain, who was sort of in a state of undress, so the whole thing's really...
It is all bizarre unless they knew each other from before, which I don't think we have any of that information. But, I mean, is this legit? I mean, I was born in 78, so I definitely wasn't boarding a cruise in 1979. Is this legit how it was? Could you just walk onto a cruise ship
look, I
and
don't
they
know.
expected
Maybe.
you to just get off because they assumed that you were going to be like a decent human being and say, well, I don't have a ticket, so it's time to me say goodbye to my family, so I'm going to disembark now.
Well, if any of our audience is listening and
Yeah, if anyone
has an
knows
answer,
and
please
has-
write us. Let us know.
Right. I mean,
Explain
I have
this.
definite memories of a kid in like the 80s, like mid 80s, traveling on airplanes. And there was definitely not the security. I mean, shit, you used to walk up to the gate with your family and like walk up to the plane and take a pair of stairs. It's
Yes.
so it's definitely gone crazier. But I just wonder if this was literally how it was.
I'm going to say this about you, co-host Charlotte.
Yeah.
Your number one thing has always been from episode 1, season 1.
Yes.
Who is allowed on the boat, and does it even matter because they're there anyway?
I know.
They
It's
just
just
walk
crazy.
on.
They just walk on.
Jimmy J.J. Walker,
Yep.
episode 1,
Yep.
season 1.
Everyone just walks on.
And
They give
everyone
out
just
room
comes on the boat,
numbers.
no
Yeah.
security. That's right. Hey, could you tell me where I'd find this beautiful
Yeah,
young lady? I'm a
exactly.
stalker.
What
Sure.
room is she in?
Room 412 on the Lido deck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's usually what happens.
Is so-and-so here with that woman? Oh, why, yes, he is. He's been here with her for 2 weeks. It's great. It's the amount of information. It's insane.
Well, I'm not sure. It looks like there's maybe only one clip left, so we're going to need
But it's a two-parter.
It is. Oh, that's right. It is a two-parter, but I tell you what, this show is running a little long.
out
We're
because
getting
we've
past
been
our...
talking a lot, so we might just make it 2 for everybody. Get excited.
Let's see where this goes, guys.
Jack Chenault was the most wonderful man I ever met.
I'm going to stop this here for a second, just to set this up, because it's a scene like we've never seen before.
First of all, Julie's hair is kicking it. She is going full Farah Fawcett.
Yes, and it's a little bit of a blend of 70s into 80s, because it's a little big, too.
It's a little bigger, yeah, and she's doing the poofy vest. This is like, we're getting there. We're on the cusp.
Producer Caleb, explain the location. What were we just looking at?
They made it to Alaska. So they're at Alaska and they're just doing like one of those sightseeing stops.
Expeditions offsite or whatever.
Beautiful shot. She's
Yeah,
on a
it's a
deck.
beautiful
It looks
shot.
cold. She's wearing some kind of fur in her hair, like we heard about. All right, so I'm going to continue.
Jack Chenault was the most wonderful man I ever met, and he asked me to marry him. Now, how many chances like that does a girl get?
But I thought you decided...
I know what I decided.
Let's go for an Isaac and Julie.
It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind, isn't it?
Julie's drinking wine.
Oh, sure. Matter of fact, my uncle used to say that a woman's mind is kind of like motor oil. If it isn't changed often enough, it gets all gummy and sludgy.
Oh, God.
There's a
Okay, wow.
Charlotte
There we go.
line. Ah, okay.
And I'm sad that it came from Gopher, but there we go. Wow.
Well, they're
Technically,
yes.
It came from his grandfather.
Whatever. It's been
According
passed
to the
down for
chart.
generations. That's even worse.
Let me say
The
this up,
misogyny
guys.
and bullshit's just been passed down.
They even brought it to Alaska.
And they had the only black person in the group in a cowboy hat. Just want to bring that up.
They're all on the deck of this Alaskan bound
Yes.
cruise. They're by themselves. They're just doing their normal.
And when Julie
commiserating.
drinks, she kind of makes bad decisions.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
seems to be a very cheap date. I don't think it takes her very much.
She's hanging out with the boys, an all-boys
Yes.
club.
And they're
she-
shocked what they ask her to do.
Well, she's drinking white wine, and
Of course
you
she
mentioned
is.
this. I'm going to mention it again because I want everyone to have this visual in their mind because it is as cool as it sounds. It is Isaac in a cowboy hat, all bundled up like he's coming off the set of Yellowstone.
Yes.
And Gopher, big mop of hair. He's out there in the middle of these two, Julie on one side, Isaac on the other. They're having a good time. I like this camaraderie that they're having.
Was the doc not there? Did I dream that?
The doc was there.
He went with the beanie on, right?
He had a beanie on.
He had a beanie on.
I neglected to mention the doc. Maybe I'm ignoring the doc.
You could be. You could be.
As you should.
Producer Caleb ignored the doc because it didn't seem he had anything worthwhile to say.
No, not worthwhile. He never has anything worthwhile to say.
I have a comment about this episode. And if any of our listeners watching the episodes with us after our episodes come out, they would notice that the doc kind of takes like a moral high ground. He doesn't say anything. There's no like special moments featuring the doc. But every time a character says something out of pocket or says something that's kind of questionable, the camera would turn to the doc and the doc would give like a disapproving look, or he would just like shake his head, or just make like a face like that was too far.
He's just not taking responsibility for anything he does or says.
I just don't like this drastic change, and I hope Doc, which it's weird it's coming out of my mouth right now, but I hope the Doc returns back to his normal Doc.
Sleazy self. You want the sleazy
self.
Yeah.
I want more of the Love Boat.
We're going to get some more of the Love Boat. We're having a whole
I got an inch, you know?
Yeah.
I got an itch for more Love Boat.
I hear
And it looks
you.
like we're ending this episode right now. Producer Caleb, episode 1, season 3. Remarkable in its own ways. New boundaries being pushed. New locations.
Yep.
Where does it go?
I don't know.
Do we need to know anything?
For episode 2, for part 2, because this is a two-parter, the two people who are getting married, they call it off.
Smart.
So that's where I'll leave it for part 2.
Perfect for a bride and groom to call off their wedding and still be stuck on a boat together with no exit. So smart. With their families both on the boat too. This is great.
And there is a callback to an earlier episode in season 2. This is the Julie storyline.
Okay.
If we remember when she was almost married to the person with two daughters.
kids. In Alaska,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
He was
he's
from Alaska.
And that's why she's so giddy in the last clip we watched.
I have a feeling she's going to show up and he's going to be married to somebody else.
Oh my God, they're continuing that? Okay, let's not have any
Let's
more
not have more
answers.
sessions. Okay, let's wait till next episode. Okay.
Oh, Producer Caleb.
Thanks all for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend. We're on all your favorite streaming platforms. And we'll see you all on the Love Boat next week.
We're sailing away, but we will be back with a new episode of Crime Cruise, Love Boat Exposed. Make sure to subscribe. We're on all your favorite podcast platforms. And connect with us at loveboatexposed.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, but I have duties on the bridge. Good evening.